My fiancé just left me for my sister, and he took the business that I built from the ground up, and now people are blaming me for it because he's spewing all these lies in the office about how I had cold feet about getting married and how I didn't want to really run a business. Well, you know what? I'm not going to let him tarnish my reputation. I'm going to do something about it. Nothing hurts more than having all of your work going down the drain. The only thing that hurts more than that is suffering multiple losses in a day. I don't think that I have the strength to go on anymore. I've been in bed for the past 3 days and I've only eaten junk food. I've also been unable to respond to messages. That's because I know what those messages are going to be saying. I don't even have the strength to tell people that I've lost everything. Right when success was at the tip of my fingers, it was snatched away. The worst part is that the person who has held my hand throughout all of this is the one who stabbed me in the back. You should be careful who you marry and who you trust. Never mix business with pleasure. When I first started my company with my then boyfriend, many people warned me about mixing business with pleasure. They told me that we might break up and then be unable to work together with each other. But I told them that they were wrong, because Nick and I have been together since the first year of college. We're extremely close and we trust each other. I should actually say that we are extremely close and do trust one another 100%. I'll not tell you about the trials and tribulations that we've gone through. I'll just let you know that I trust this man enough to start a company with him and marry him. Our company was in the process of signing the biggest deal yet. We had just met with investors earlier in the evening and they offered us some more money than we would ever see in our entire lives. The deal was as good as done. So then we decided to take the next day off work, and we knew that we were going to be very, very busy for a long time, and would not really be able to relax. So we spent the whole day together. We had lunch and decided to go for a walk around the gardens. We did a lot of things that we both enjoyed, and later that evening I started to feel quite drowsy. I figured that I was tired because of the long day that we had. Well, he suggested that I just go to sleep because he wanted to catch up on some work. I tried to tell him that he should not work. I figured he was also tired and needed some rest. But he promised me that he would only work for an hour and then join me in bed. I drifted off to sleep and had the best sleep I've had in ages. I usually get about 5 hours of deep sleep per night. After those 5 hours, I'm wide awake and cannot sleep. That night, I got 10 hours. When I woke up, I realized I had missed my alarm. I was late for work. So I quickly got dressed and rushed to the office, and when I got there, I expected my fiancé to be mad at me for sleeping in. Instead, he was just acting quite normal. He told me that we've worked for about an hour and a half and apologized for working too much. I decided to forgive myself for it, and sometimes, one can just crash. Just then, I noticed that he had some glitter on his face. Well, that's strange because we had now encountered no glitter during the day. So I asked him about it and he said that it was one of the dresses. He's been looking for this tie in my wardrobe and I asked him why would he be looking for it in there. And he said he didn't know how it might have been misplaced, but he does tend to place things in my wardrobe from time to time, so I don't know, I did believe him. However, at lunchtime I saw something that made me feel that he was telling me a lie. I bumped into my sister into the bathroom and she was covered in glitter. In fact, her entire head was sparkling, and when she saw me, she asked me if I could give her my hairdresser's number. She then laughed and said that she should not have gone out partying the previous night and allowed her friends to put up so much glitter on her head. So why did the two of them have glitter on? The same color glitter as well. Something told me that something was not right, so I decided that I was going to look into it. So then the next thing I knew, when he was sleeping, I used his fingerprint to open his phone. It was the first time I'd looked through his phone in all those years, but I knew that something was going on. I've been seeing signs that he was hiding something from me over the past few weeks. I just decided to ignore them because I did not want to fight with him when we were so close to having our company become successful. Now, there was a chance that he was with my sister that night, but I need to know the truth. When I went through his phone, I discovered that most of his chats were deleted. This was a red flag, but I was smarter than that, so I looked through every nook and cranny of his phone until I found what I was looking for. This man has been using an email account that I was unaware of to communicate with my sister. I found emails from the previous nights where he told her that they had successfully drugged me. He told her that I would be knocked out and would not notice that he was gone. So, the next day he gets an email from her when she said that the previous night was so much fun. She also laughed and said that I have not suspected anything. Well, I was fuming and I was about to shake this man awake until a new email came through. It was titled Bad News. So as I read that email, my eyes widened. She was telling him that there was something she needs to tell him and that it was going to change everything, and she asked to meet him the next morning at the coffee shop. So let's fast forward to the next day, shall we? I showed up at the coffee shop at the time that she had asked him to show up. I saw them sitting across from each other, and she showed him something that made his face change immediately. I did not give them a chance to see anything else to each other before I walked in. I went right to her and I slapped her. He told me to calm down and not hurt her, and I asked why, and he just said because she's pregnant with his kid. I felt myself getting very cold. I was frozen in shock. This was the worst, way worse than I could have even thought. So long story short, I made a big scene at the cafe. After this, I walked away and went for a very long walk. Then I decided that I did not want to work with this man anymore. I did not want to see my sister anymore, and I wanted nothing to do with him. So I went to the office and told him to go to hell and get the hell out of my company. That's when he told me that actually I was the one who was supposed to get out. He told me that he would call security on me if I did not leave, and you know what? This was news to me. He could not kick me out because I was obviously the co-owner. Well, what happened next went by in a blur. He proceeded to tell me that last week when we signed the contracts, he slipped one in for me to sign over my shares. He was going to announce that he was the main shareholder at the next company meeting, and he was going to keep me on but not want me to have any power. When I reminded him that, we built this together, he told me that the company would be more successful with just one CEO, obviously a man. But since I was so unprofessional and had snooped into his life, he needs me gone? He told me that he was going to start a family with my sister. He was going to give me some money for my services, but I need to resign. At that point, I was so defeated and did not see any end to this, so I just signed away all my life's work for $5,000. I went home, I packed my bags, and I left town. As soon as I got a motel, I stayed in it till now, and I guess I just needed to vent to some strangers online. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's me here. It's been about 3 weeks since the day I lost everything. I've managed to leave the house at least twice this week, and I've been looking for a job so I can support myself. I've decided to start fresh, and I cannot face the embarrassment of explaining to people what happened to me. Instead, I'm going to just rebuild my life, and I'm not going to let him stop me from living. He can have the damn company for all I care. He's going to run it to the ground. What most people don't know is that I'm the brain of the operation. He mostly talks to clients and does presentations, and I went to school for this. I live for my field, and I have a great passion for it. He took me out of the company, but he cannot take my skills. I've done a lot of thinking, and it's made me realize that he did me a favor. None of the people that we used to know have reached out with any kind of words. Some of them just want to know if it's true. I left the company and called off my engagement. Others are saying I'm a fool for leaving such a good man. Of course, they think that he's a good man. They don't know that the ugly side of him like I do. The side that I've ignored for many years because I loved him. Do you know that he's extremely controlling when we're alone? He does not want me to have any friends that he does not approve of. All of my so-called friends are his, and he also wants to have every say in what I wear. He told me to tone down on my look because I look like a, loose woman. My sister dresses the way that I used to dress, and yet he sleeps with her. His double standards are absolutely disgusting, but let's be honest. I think I stayed because so much was tied to him. I would have lost my friends and had issues in the company if I left him. Well, luckily for me, he took all of that from me, and now he has no hold over me. I'm going to live my life right now for me. Update number 2. It's been 2 months since I've decided to take my life back. I'll let you know how that's been going shortly, but firstly, I would like to address some of your questions and comments. Someone asked me why I did not just sue him for my company and not be a coward. Well, at the time, I was emotionally distraught. I also did not have the funds for the lawsuit that was going to drag on and on. The smart move was to cut my losses and move, but there was just a comment that said that, well, you hope that I became more successful than him, and that got to me, you know? I got to see the regrets at fumbling me. Well, to be honest, my life has been back on track. I got a job, but it's not as exciting as what I used to do. At least it gives me a chance to make money as I think about how to nail him. You must be shocked that I'm planning something against him, right? After all, I said I was just going to focus on myself. Well, he provoked it when he had the nerve to send me an invite to his wedding with my sister. And you want to know the worst part? He gave her my ring to wear. I mean, how disrespectful is that? Those two are just going to reap the fruit of my labor? I don't think so. I'm going to make sure that they regret ever betraying me like that. I have a plan in my mind, but it's going to take a long time to execute. So you will have to bear with me, but no matter how long it takes, I'll keep you updated on the developments. What I can tell you is that the company was not my last resort. I had something I was working on, something that he didn't even know about. It was one valuable thing in that house, more than the ring. It was his wedding gift. I started working on it when he proposed to me 3 years ago. I wondered what I could give him that would show my love for him, and I'm not the most romantic person. I'm more practical and logical, and I just wanted to make something that would be useful to him for the rest of his life. It was going to be the symbol of our love. There was nothing like it in the world, which is why I kept it a secret. I just know that the gift is going to help me in some way. I think I made it for a reason, and that reason was not to waste it on the cheating man. No, I'm going to use what I think is my best work to date to destroy him. I'm going to gnaw at all that he's stolen from me until it turns to dust. He'll not see this coming. His climb up the corporate ladder has been labeled legendary by most people, and I'm going to make sure that his fall is just as big. He's going to get so comfortable thinking that he's won. That is when I'm going to take him down a notch. When I'm done with him, he will not be able to get up. This is personal, and I don't take kindly to time wasters. I don't take kindly to people who think that I'm weak. He should ask my high school bully how she ended up. She helped destroy herself in high school, and she ended up as a drug addict and is still on the streets to this day. Sorry if I sound a bit maniacal. It's just how I am when I'm focused. I'm not going to break any laws or hurt anyone physically. I'm just going to teach them a lesson. Update 6 months later. Hey guys, it's been 6 months since Nick became the CEO of the company. He recently announced that he's getting married once his fiancé gives birth. This was all a stunt to try to shut people out about the trouble in the company. Clients and investors are pulling out left and right, and the share prices are dropping drastically. Nobody really knows why this is happening except for me. See, I'm the one telling them the truth about the company, and as far as I know, I did not sign any NDA about the company. I knew all the secrets and had no motive to spill it because it was my company. Nick should have been smart and made sure that I could not legally spill the beans. Instead, he was too proud of himself for getting me out of the company just before we hit the big break. As the former owner of the company, I know something that most people do not. Our company has some flaws, many of which I pointed out to him. Some of those could take years to fix, and I was going to make sure that we got started with that as soon as we got funding. He disagreed. He wanted to hide those flaws and not waste any money. As long as they were not affecting the daily running of the business, we would be fine. He always had that nonchalant attitude, and if it were not for me, he would have failed because he did not care about the minor details. He was so lucky that I always was right behind him, going over everything with a fine-tooth comb. I know that he's not been doing that since I left, and the first client I warned about this decided not to renew his contract with the company. This is how I knew that I was right. So then I started to tip them off on the things that we're not supposed to know. And the best part is that I did not hide my identity. When they saw it was me, the former co-owner, they easily believed me. So I turned out to be right, and they were so grateful to me for saving them. So how did they thank me? With silence and a little favor. I've been working on a little something, but I think that it's a secret. I gave you hints about it in my last post, and in just a few weeks all will be revealed. Everything's going to fall in place. The clients are going to be so happy that they jump ship, and the look on his face when he realizes what's happening is going to be oh so satisfying. I'm going to get all my tears back, and I'm giddy with excitement. Updates. 1 month later. Hey guys. So, about a month ago, I went to, confess, chaos descended upon my old company. Instead of being a leader, keeping everyone calm, and just controlling the crisis, he decides to put the blame on his employees. I think that's a stupid move. And I have no idea that he was so dumb. He really did take the fun out of making this as slow as possible. In his actions, he actually helped me because he put the company up for sale. That was a relief amongst the employees. I had one trusted employee who told me that people were already thinking of leaving. They all miss me and have been miserable under my ex. My sister has also been very unbearable and acting like she was already his wife. They wanted him gone and for a new boss to acquire the company, which was now worth scraps. Days later, he went ahead to announce the company has been sold and he would announce the new CEO of the company at a private press conference. Many people were shocked that there was even anybody who wanted to buy it since it was basically worth nothing. Well, I watched the drama unfold. It was good for him that he sold the company before the end of the month. If he had waited, then there would have been nothing to sell. Now, the only thing that's taken a hit is his personal life. Something's been revealed that shocked everyone. When I got the news from my informant, I could not believe it because I lost my fiancé because of a woman who was lying about her pregnancy. So apparently, my sister lied to him about the pregnancy, and she somehow managed to keep it at these past few months. When she found out that he was selling the company and in a ton of debt, she was not about to go down with him. So then she went and dumped him in front of the whole office. Well, she revealed her fake belly and called him a coward for tanking the company. See, she did not even care that people saw this encounter, she just wanted to be rid of the loser. That's one personality trait that I hate about her. She only wants to be in someone's life when they benefit her, and if there is no such thing, then it's very easy to bail. That's why I've always kept her at arm's length, and the only reason I hired her was because she lost her job and nobody could help her get one. She promised me that she would work hard and not cause any trouble. I'm the only family that she has, so of course I was going to help her. Little did I know that she was going to work so hard that she was going to take all that I had. That was her big mistake, and now she's lost it all, just like him. They're both shells of what they used to be, and if she looks anything like he does these days, then I can say the past few weeks have been rough on her too. But let's go back to the press conference, right? He had it with a very few select members of the company. He told them that the company's been acquired by another large company and was going to be absolved. Everybody was going to keep their jobs. There was just going to be a change in management, and then he let everyone know that the new boss had arrived and would join them shortly. Well, I was watching through one of the cameras when he said that. A while later, the doors flung open and the new CEO of the company entered. As you might have guessed, it was plain old me. And it was thanks to Plan B. Let me tell you how this all went down. Remember the product I was so secretive about? Well, I sold the patent to a company that paid a lot of money for it. So much money that I'll probably not have to work a day in my life, at least not for a few years. That was several months ago, and I got this sale thanks to somebody that I tipped off about Nick's company cutting corners. The client asked me what was in it for me, and I told him that I want to destroy my ex. That's simple. He then told me that I had talent and it was wasted on revenge. Surely I could just start something of my own, and that's when I told him, well, I did have something of my own, something that would change the world. So he asked to see my work, and he advised me to sell it, make a lot of money, and then buy out the company. Well, would get my baby back and rebuild it the way that I want it to be built, and so I did just that. I made sure the shares crashed, and I bought it for next to nothing and made sure that nobody in town would touch him with a stick. Then I walked down the aisle in my revenge dress. A short white number that screamed boss. It was so deliberate. His face matched my dress when he saw me walking down, and he shouted for security to kick me out because he was at a private event. But I stopped them with one hand. I just smiled and said technically they're under my employ now. If they wanted anyone kicked out, they would kick out him. But I would not do that to him. Instead, I would allow him to pack up his office and leave with the little dignity that he still had. Just then, his PA stood up and starts to clap. She smiled at me, glad that I was home. The other employees surprised me and started clapping too. They then came towards me to embrace me, and I was so overwhelmed by their praise. They were so grateful that I'd saved their jobs and returned, and they said that working under him had been an absolute nightmare. The least that he could have done was treat the people who work for him well. But of course, he can't let go of his control complex. Updates. So, I've just finished my first week as the CEO. It's been a lot. I'm not going to lie, the takeover was much easier than the rest of the week. Luckily, I have help from some of the best in the business. My PA, which my ex stole when he fired me, has been a huge help. I've not forgotten what she did for me, and for that I decided to promote her. Clients are slowly coming back, but it'll be a while before things are back to normal. In fact, I don't want them to go back to normal. I want them to change. Under my leadership, I want them to collaborate more and have more freedom and creativity. I want them to wake up every morning and be happy to come to work. Therefore, I've been investigating and seeing how things can be changed, and I've also been going through all the different departments with a fine-tooth comb. Lots need to be done, and we're so understaffed. I hope that I'll be able to get done this next week, though. It feels so good to be this busy and solving problems, but there are some people who are not so happy about my return to town. Those people are his friends who never reached out to me when I left town. Unfortunately for me, I have to interact with some of them on a daily basis. They give me these nasty looks when they can and talk about me as if I'm not there. They claim that I stole the company from Nick and it was not his company to begin with. I put more of myself in there than him, and he took all the credit. I got a measly $5,000 while he profited off my blood, sweat, and tears. Of course they're going to forget that and believe him. And honestly, I don't care if they gave me dirty looks. I don't care that they've blocked me on social media, and I'm just busy building an empire. I'll find friends along the way, and they'll be less superficial than them. Okay, this just in. I'm relaxing at home on a Saturday afternoon, and I've received a visitor. I told people to run everything by my assistant, and if anything urgent comes up, I'll check my emails later today. No one even knows where I live, but apparently I've just been served. Let me see what this is about. Final update. Hey guys, I'm so sorry to cut my last update short. I was just a bit stressed over the contents of the letter. This man wanted to get the company back from me, claiming that I stole it from him and did not pay him fairly. I knew he was not going to take anything lying down. He was not going to let me have a victory in peace. He was trying to come close to me since that day I kicked him out, and he even came to the company several times till I had to get the cops involved. Since there were several witnesses that he was harassing me, it was so easy to get protection orders against him. But of course, he would not leave me alone. His obsession with me was driving him crazy enough to try to get the law involved. You see, I had one of the best lawyers in the business, and I was not going to let all of my hard work just simply go to waste. I was also not even going to pay him one more dime. He was so lucky that I did not crash his company value to $1. Trust me, a woman scorned can do a lot if she puts her mind to it. I did him a favor, and he was going to drown in debt and humiliation. But turns out he did not want to keep his dignity because he tried to take me to court. Well, that was terrible for his reputation because all his former clients refused to back him up and took my side. It was such a public humiliation that I was feeling secondhand embarrassment for him. He lost, as predicted, and had to pay me for putting me through so much. That loss did something to him, and I could tell after that something was up with his psyche. Word got back to me that nobody wants to work with him. He was a regular at the bar and is still there. He's drinking himself into misery, and I don't even feel anything. I have people tell me that I went too far, and you know what? You know what I say to those people? He had no mercy for me. He dished it out, but he cannot take it. If I can get up from what he did to me, then so can he. His ego's just standing in his way, and he does not want to admit that he lost. As for my sister, since she does not have a job anymore, she left town. I don't have her number or her social media. I just hope that one day karma will get her. So, guys, this is just a classic story that you see when karma is involved. Nick, OP's husband, he was so crooked. I mean, going behind OP's back, stealing the company out from under her, paying $5,000, and then absolutely crashing the company into the ground. Come on. Well, I think he got everything he deserved. Yes, I know, at the end of the story it said he turned to an alcoholic, and that's sad. It's sad to see anybody go down that path, but you know what they say about karma? It only comes for people that deserve it. Guys, let me know what you think about today's story in the comment section below. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Did it entertain you? Let me know in the comments. I post a story like this every single day, so if you do want more of these, the simplest way is to hit that notification bell and the subscription thing down below. And well, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember it's cool to be kind. See ya.